We are back, baby. We are back. Tubi Tuesday. It's a thing. We do it here, mostly on Tuesdays. Sometimes not. Sometimes never regular. It's never regular, like me and my bowel movements. But today we are talking about. God damn it! What year did this shit come out? Tonight we are talking about the 2017 movie, The Evangelist. The Evangelist. So the movie opens with a young child slumbering away in his bed. His mother comes in to say goodnight, but he's fully asleep. And this is where the movie already kind of fucking lost me, honestly, if I'm being honest here. She picks up a plate of uneaten cookies from his bedside table and turns the light out and leaves. Unbelievably unrealistic. Who leaves fucking cookies uneaten? I've never gotten cookies and not eaten them. I know it's hard to believe, but a kid not eating their cookies? You gotta take that fucking kid immediately to the hospital. There's obviously something wrong. So the mom goes into the kitchen. She pours herself a nice big old glass of wine, starts popping some pills. I don't know why. I thought it was gonna be important. And guess what? It never comes up again. But I want to talk about something very serious, guys. Look at the placement of this fridge. What the fuck kind of layout is that? I enter and exit my fridge multiple times a day. It is in another room, for one, if that counts as a room. I don't even know what the fuck that is. An alcove? I don't know what an alcove is, but it sounds like it fits. You're opening your fridge, you're, clamoring around in your fridge looking for fixins for a sandwich or something, and somebody just opens the fucking door, smashes that fridge door into you. Like, you're just asking for, frankly, just like homeowners insurance claims and stuff like that. This is an unbelievably poor design. I would never buy this house. In fact, I think they should just burn this house down and start over. This is fucking affront to humanity and society in whole. Get rid of this shit, is my point. So now I understand why the mom's drinking so much. It makes sense to me. I'd be depressed too if my fridge was in this little fucking side room like this. But anyways, she hears a clamoring. Is that what it's called? Clamoring? That's a word. I think Santa Claus clamors. Down came the chimney with old Saint Nick. She runs back into her son's room. No, he's still asleep, but oh shit. There's a dude with a knife. Cue the fucking intro credits. That's the way you open a disturbing ass movie. We are introduced to the protagonist of the movie, Bill, I believe is his name. He lives in a Airbnb by the beach. You can tell it's by the beach because all the decorative items in the house are just like nautical themed, which is a little ironic, I think, the whole idea of like nautical themed decorative items like fish on the wall and boats and shit. Like the whole existence of those items is to exist on water, and yet we're putting them on land as decorations. Doesn't that anyone else think that's a little weird? Like, I don't know, it just seems weird to me. And the other thing about this is he loves the ocean so much. You can tell with the boats and the fish and all that shit, but look at his fish tank. It's like the most depressing thing I've ever seen. Dude, check the filter on that thing or do something. That's not right. Those fish don't deserve that. And if you're not going to take care of your fish, then put them free. Set them free. Free that Willie, if you know what I'm saying. So anyways, his neighbor shows up. She starts talking about stuff with her husband and how he doesn't listen to her because nobody listens to her. It's like, all right, yeah, we know you're fishing here. Fishing in this everything. Because, it's nautical themed. I don't know if that really works.
Can't complain. Who would listen anyway?
I would.
But Bill, being the generous host that he is, produces a plate full of around 9 cookies. He had just baked these cookies. He baked like 9 cookies. Who bakes 9 cookies? He also says he hasn't had a cookie since he was like 8 because his body is a temple. And here, I thought it was just a wonderland. My body is a wonderland. He has an interesting voice. It's very gravelly and like aged, I guess you could say. It doesn't smell. I mean, I don't know what his voice smells like. I don't know why you would smell somebody's voice. But talking about John Mayer, of course. That's the only words I know of that song too. The other thing that's weird about this scene is the neighbor says how immaculate his house is. I mean, no it's not. Look at the fucking fish tank for one. That thing is a cesspool. But all the knickknacks, that doesn't make it immaculate. It seems cluttered, frankly. And I'm not a big fan of clutter, even though my house is riddled with it, thanks to the goddamn kids. Anyways, I digress. He also has this bowl near the TV, and it looks like it's filled with like cheese curls or popcorn or something. It's like a community cheese curl bowl. Is that something you leave out as like decoration, or just like, I get like a candy dish if all the candy is like individually wrapped, but if it's just like a bowl of cheese curls, like flies and shit will just land, that seems weird, right? Unless it's not cheese curls and it's not popcorn, but what is it then? The neighbor lady takes a bite of the cookie. She says they're good. Then she puts the cookie back on the plate. Who does that? A fucking monster does that. You take the cookie, you eat the cookie. Even if the cookie's garbage, I would be like, this is a really good cookie. And then I'd slip it in my pocket, and then I'd walk out, and then I'd throw that cookie away. Who am I kidding? I would eat the cookie anyways. Most people don't want an already pre-eaten cookie. They want a fresh cookie for themselves. A personalized cookie experience is, I guess, what I'm getting at. We're then taken to the police station. It looks more like a community rec center or something like that, but we're gonna go with it. The police station, where we have the grizzled detective spouting off lines like, this used to be a police station, although I don't really think it was.
Crimes were solved. Marriages were ruined. What do you kids know about being real cops?
What do you kids know about being real cops? Yeah, that's what kids look like. 40, 45, good mid, late 40s kids. Yep, selling that. Yep. The police chief is introduced. Fun fact, I have that exact same tie. No, I am not a police chief either. He keeps saying, jizz on her pretty dress. That is a line that's repeated several times in this movie. Not a fan, but thought it was worth bringing up. Leave your comments below about that, I guess.
Jizz all over her pretty dress.
Jizz all over her pretty dress.
Also, I don't know how efficient these cops are. I mean, this one cop is literally working on a computer that is off. Like, I get pretending to do work while you're working and not actually doing anything. But like, dude, you gotta sell it a little better than that. The computer screen is completely black. It's not on at all. And he's typing. What's he typing? So we leave the police. We cut back to Bill, our protagonist, who lays in bed like a corpse, sleeps like a freaking weirdo. Nobody sleeps like, have you ever just... I flop around in my sleep though, so maybe I'm not a normal person per se, but I gotta flop around like a beached whale or something. It takes me a while to get comfortable. I've never just laid there. I feel like they're just trying to portray him as a psychopath because he sleeps like a fucking one. Anyways, he gets up in the middle of the night because he can't sleep, so he starts writing out, I assume it's probably the rest of the script for this fucking movie. But he is interrupted by a knock on the door. It's pretty good, right? Sold that effect. And it turns out it's the neighbor, not the young woman from earlier, no, her husband. He's returning the plate with all the cookies that they had eaten. And he accuses Bill, our main character, of having the hots for his wife. You know, because he baked her these cookies and pies and all kinds of desserts. Frankly, I think he's more upset by the fact that this guy just keeps baking desserts than he is about the guy being attracted to his wife. And I could understand if the dude had a weight problem, per se, because sometimes, you know, it's hard to say no to a good fresh baked cookie or pie. But this guy is, you know, he's swole and slim. He could eat a cookie or two and not have any issues. So, I don't know, I feel like it's a bit of an overreaction. But Bill's not happy with this. He does not take the no pie request lightly. No, sir. He knocks the living shit out of this guy with a fucking wine cooler. Yeah, a wine cooler. Doesn't get any cooler than that. We're taken to Bill's basement, his lair. We learned quite a bit more about him here from this, though. I mean, we already knew he was a baking enthusiast, but now it looks like he also likes assembling really shitty looking crosses in his basement. And he has like 42 fake candles. I don't know what that's about. Is that like a budgetary thing that they couldn't afford real flames in this movie, so they had to get the fake ones? I would think the fake ones would cost more than the real ones. Is it a safety concern to light candles? I mean, if that's the case, then Yankee Candle is just like a fucking bomb ready to go off at any moment if you go in there. There's so many goddamn candles. You light one of those things and that whole place becomes a tinderbox. I farted in a Yankee Candle once, and I thought I got away with it, but my wife ratted me out. That's a true story. I felt the need to confess. So the neighbor is all tied down on a shitty looking bench, and if you look to the right, there's a hanging light, okay? And at one point, we cut to a different angle, and when we cut back, the light is swinging a little bit. Yeah, things are getting fucking interesting, guys. Cut to another angle, and when we cut back, this light is swinging like a fuck. How? Let's hear theories. I feel like maybe there's an air conditioning system, although you don't usually let your vents blow into the basement, right? But what could be causing this swinging? Maybe it was an earthquake in between the shots, like a subtle earthquake, not one of those big earthquakes, but like a baby earthquake type thing. I don't know what it could be, but honestly, this is like the most interesting thing in the movie so far. I'm invested. So he ends up murdering his neighbor. We all saw it coming. So then the most disturbing thing happens. He Windexed his coffee table, his wooden coffee table. Would somebody think of the finish on the coffee table? You don't Windex that shit. That's made for glass. It's not made for wood. Wood needs Old English or some sort of oil-based lubricant type thing, device. Oil is a surface. I know nothing about wood or oil is not okay. So we cut back to the detectives who, I don't know, are detecting, I guess. They haven't done anything yet, but he barges into the DA's office now. The DA is drinking wine, and he keeps evidence for a murder in his messy dresser sitting next to his desk. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing here, guys? Who are we fooling with this? Like, what is this? Really? So this detective's new partner comes barging in and says he was looking for the bathroom because he had to poop.
Looking for the bathroom because I have to poop.
You don't need to elaborate. You can just say, I'm looking for the bathroom. Or, I gotta poop. I don't think you would do that either. Like if I go to the grocery store and I don't know where the bathroom is, I'm not gonna be like, can you tell me where the bathroom is? Because I really need to take a shit. You don't do that. Show a little tact. That's what I'm saying. You know, I don't know if it's rude, but you just don't need to elaborate because now you're putting that mental image in somebody's mind of you taking a shit. And most people don't want to see somebody else taking a shit. I'm sure there is a fraction of society that are shitting enthusiasts, and there's websites and stuff dedicated to whatever they're into. And I'm not here to judge them for being into watching people take shits. You do you. But I kind of lost where I was going with this because I just keep thinking about people taking shits. So then we cut back to Bill, who's working on his term paper or something, and he hears an ad for a therapist. So Bill goes to visit this therapist who works out of a sunroom in an Airbnb. Wicker chair. Can you imagine sitting in a wicker chair all day? But I digress. And we get to see their entire therapy session from beginning to end because it starts at 23 minutes and 16 seconds into the movie and ends at 26 minutes and 35 seconds into the movie. And I wouldn't care that that's all we see of the therapy session, except for we see it start and we see her alarm go off to tell her when the therapy session is over. So he literally went to a therapist for a 3-minute and 19-second therapy session. That seems a little short. I don't know how many life problems you're gonna be able to tackle with 3 minutes and 19 seconds. And does insurance cover that? Is there a deductible on a 3-minute and 19-second therapy session? I mean, I know American healthcare system sucks. This is not a political show, okay? But this is getting a little ridiculous. 3 minutes and 19 seconds? Bill goes back home. We get an establishing shot of his house. See this ladder? Like, don't leave your ladder sit out like that in your front yard. It's a fucking eyesore. Put that shit away. Just slide it in next to the fucking side of the house. It would look much better. What are you doing, people? Neighbor lady shows back up. This time she's in distress. Her husband's been missing because he murdered her earlier. He murdered the husband earlier. Anyways, Bill gets mad. I think because his shirt seems a little tight. I get mad too when my shirt's tight. So I get it. Like, I never murdered my neighbor because my shirts get tight, but I get a little annoyed. I'll say it. So he knocks her out too. So then he showers and he comes out wearing a tank top and a towel down below. That's fucking weird, man. I just don't understand what happened there. Are we suggesting that he put a shirt on but not underwear and just a towel? Or is he in underwear, but he just still decided to put like his wet towel back on? I could understand it if he came out not wearing a shirt and just had a towel on. That means I would assume he's naked and he's using a towel to cover up his dingus, right? That makes sense. His little wee-wee, his pee-pee as they call it. But the fact that he went through and was like, I'm covering up my little schmeckle, but I'm gonna put on a tank top is very confusing, right? You always put on the underwear first, right? To hide your nethers. I mean, I don't know. It just seems really bizarre to me. What do you guys do? Do you put on a shirt before you put on your underwear? I don't know, leave it below. We'll do a Twitter poll and we'll get to the bottom. Frankly, we're just gonna get to the bottom of this. Bill then has a fantasy about his therapist. I wonder if it's another 3-minute session. You know what I mean? So we're back with the detectives, and we're like a little more than halfway through this movie, and they haven't left the building yet, so I'm not sure what they're detecting, but they finally leave. They go to this guy's house. Hold on a second. Look at this guy's house. What is that on the columns? Are those like, did he like make a rock wall, like a climbing rock wall on his columns of his house? Because that's pretty cool, right? So the detectives arrive in some sort of SUV. They walk up to the house. Then the angle cuts back, and where the SUV was, it has now transformed into a Mercedes. How does that happen to one? Because I would like that to happen to me. How do you do that? How's that work? How do we do that? So they enter this guy's house. His name is Mr. Dorian. Interesting name. He sits in his couch, and I mean, we can all agree this guy needs a new couch. Like, he sits directly in the center and this whole thing just bows in. That is terrible for your back. Dude, you need to get out of that couch and just never use it again. You were causing so many issues on your lower back by sitting in a couch like that. I've talked about lumbar support before, so I won't go into it in detail, but like, just this is a problem and you should look into it. So the two cops end up arguing with this Dorian guy. They punch him and knock him out, and then they just leave, because I guess that's what detectives do, is punch out their suspects. And then the guy never comes back up again in the movie, so I don't quite understand it, but I wasn't paying that much attention because I was distracted by his couch that clearly has issues. They return to the police station, and we get a good shot of the police station, the exterior of the police station. Let's examine this. Can we enhance on this, please? The Barefoot Beach Police Department. But I'm starting to think that maybe, just maybe, this isn't actually a police department based on a few things. So if we look at this, on the left side, there's a whole bunch of beach balls, which is a little strange, but we'll let that go. Then on the very right side of the building, it's filled with ATMs. Interesting. That's weird. I never saw a police department with ATMs like that, but okay. And then you have this sign here. Let's enhance on that. It says money market savings. So it's a police bank, is what you're saying, right? Our young detective is eating a sandwich. The meat ratio, way off for me. I like a good balance of meat and a crisp of a lettuce. No tomatoes, thank you very much. But this meat was it was an insane amount of meat. It's all you would taste. What are they doing? I don't know what they're doing here. But this is the other vexing thing. That's a word I've never used before, but I just used it pretty well there, I think. The police chief walks in, starts talking to them, they're yammering back and forth, and then all of a sudden, the police chief produces a sandwich as well. It looks like the same sandwich, but then the young detective has a sandwich, so I feel like they cut the sandwich in half and shared it, although that was never divulged in the movie, so it must have been like behind the scenes that happened, but I don't know. And these guys are detectives, so somebody should solve that mystery, right? Bill's back at the therapist's sunroom, and she confronts him because she knows he is a murderer. This angers Bill. He slaps his cookies away. My God, Bill must be mad to slap his cookies. Another thing about this little office that she's in, if you look at it here, she has this little table. It looks like a footrest. But that's where she keeps her therapy diploma or whatever the hell they have. I mean, I guess there's no wall space because it's all windows. But I feel like a little footstool dedicated to your diploma is a little weird. And then when Bill leaves, he goes out that way, which looks like it's going more inside the house than the exterior door right there. This whole room and this whole setup is fucking bizarre. That's all my point is. It's just, I couldn't do a therapy session there without being distracted by all this shit. That is a weird place to do a therapy session, right? Like all those windows, super distracting. The fact that her little fucking diploma's on a footrest, I would have to ask why you're, I can't do it. No, it's causing me anxiety now. We're moving on. I can't talk about it anymore. Back with the cops again. They still have yet to do anything in this movie, but they start fighting with each other. I don't know why, I think because the one guy ate his sandwich or something. I'm not really sure. But it doesn't matter because I got super distracted with this scene as well. Okay. Look at this doorway. It's half of a doorway. It's like they cut the wall off and just removed it and just left half a doorway there. That's so weird. Wouldn't you take it the whole way, the whole doorway gone, and then it doesn't look like a weird half doorway anymore? The drop ceiling is so disheveled. This is not, how do you people live? You people are animals. Animals! Drop ceiling is the fucking worst. It's not as bad as wood paneling, but I feel like you can paint wood paneling to give it a little better of a look. But drop ceiling, it's so clinical or something. It's just not welcoming like a good drywall. You know what I'm saying? Drywall, feel like you're at home in a drywall. You don't know what's lurking above the drop ceiling. Every time I see drop ceiling, I assume it's just filled with spiders festering up there or something like that. Yeah, and if you've ever tried to move the fucking drop ceiling, a whole bunch of asbestos and shit just flies in your face. It's not good, okay? I'm all befuddled from the drop ceiling. We're moving on. So the therapist shows up at the cop rec center and says, my patient is a murderer. Are they allowed to do that? I don't think, isn't there a fucking confidentiality, patient-doctor confidentiality, right? You're not allowed to do that, are you, if you're a therapist or a doctor? Because if you are, let me know, because I gotta call somebody. And the detective, being a great cop that he is, orders the therapist to go back to Bill, the well-known killer's house, and wait for him there. And she does it! So the therapist brings along an orderly to Bill's house. And the orderly ends up getting in with a little, and the orderly gets in a little spat, little bit of a fight with Bill, who uses his fucking cookies. Again, knock that fucker straight out. Bam, done, orderly's done. Those cookies are baked, if you know what I'm saying. During this tussle, the therapist forgets how to use doors. She can't get out. The lock, it doesn't work somehow from the inside. Bullshit. So she eventually makes it outside, but instead of running away, she hides underneath the porch and then decides to run away and gets caught, mostly because she is dumb. So we're getting to the climax of the movie here, guys. Settle in. What a twist we will be taking. What a twist that is about to betwake. Betwake? That's not a... So the twist is revealed that this old grizzled detective is actually Bill's dad. What? Yes, that's right. Dad. Bill's dad. Who saw that coming? No one. Why? Because it doesn't make any sense. Does it matter? Not at all. And that's what I like in my movies. He turns out to be the original killer of Bill's mom. Also is Bill's dad. Also is still a killer. Bill gets up, fucking, I guess he's been doing like, what's that? Tai Bo or whatever. Plexus? What the hell's the thing I'm thinking of? Tai Bo? I said that already. Workouts. I gotta look it up. Popular workout programs. Beach Body. P90X. Was that what I was looking for? It doesn't matter. CrossFit? I don't know. He snaps this fucker's neck. You can't actually do that easily, I don't think. Like, I can't even break a crab leg that easily, let alone break somebody's neck. So now it's just Bill and the therapist. And the therapist does what needs done. Yes. She shoots Bill straight in that dick, right in his little... Bill screams in agony, my dick, my fucking dick. And then she ends up doing what needs done. Shoots him right in the head. Great CGI effects there. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Then, at the very end of the movie, we get an awful, god-awful cover of Amazing Grace.
Was lost, but now I'm found, was blind.
And apparently, the therapist shoots herself in the head. I have no idea why. I don't know. But hey, at least when she did that, it queued up the fucking credits, and that's it for The Evangelist. What a movie. What? But, alright. That's gonna do it for The Evangelist. Let me know what you think about stuff. What am I asking about? What did I ask? Answer some of the questions I asked. I forget what I asked. This was a long video. And then recommend me some movies like this on Tubi. Nothing too good, guys. Some of the recommendations you guys send, I look at the movies, I'm like, they're fucking masterpieces. How am I supposed to talk about them? It's gotta be bad. So check out some other stuff on Tubi. Let me know if you see anything that's pretty schlocky, fun to talk about. Leave a like, leave a subscribe if you aren't. And then consider the Patreon, because these take a long time to produce, and I could use your support if you want these to continue. That's going to do it for Tubi Tuesday. I will catch you here next time. Goodbye.